What happened in this fight was embarrassing on Galal Yafai's corner's part. When you talk about Galal Yafai, this is a man, like I said, was accomplished, had a great amateur career, was now working his way up the pro ranks. But this fight should never have gone any further than the 10th round. And if you were to stop the fight early in the fight, I would have been A-okay with that. Because that final 10th, 11th, and 12th round of that fight was absolutely brutal. And the unfortunate reality of this is that when you talk about this type of fight and what happened inside that ring over the duration of 12 rounds, this is the type of night that ends up taking years off a man's life. This is the type of fight that when you look back on it, he's not probably going to become the same fighter that he was on Saturday when he woke up. That was a brutal, brutal, damaging fight. There's no other way to put it than that. And that damage could have been alleviated or minimized had his corner thrown in the towel, which is shocking. Most towels would have been thrown in that situation. For one reason or another, Galal Yafai's corner failed him that night. They chose to put him back out there and say, you know what? Go out there and let's see you keep trying to fight. The fight was not close. 119-108 on the scorecard across two of them, 118-109 on the other scorecard. This was not even a competitive fight. There was no point in Galal Yafai continuing to fight on Saturday. He should have been pulled much earlier in the fight to an extent where it could have saved him damage both in the present and long term and could have allowed their fighter to fight another day. Now we're in a position that I do not know where Galal Yafai goes from here. He obviously has so many deficiencies in his ability to fight and things that need to be improved on, and he's only going to have to combat now the damage that his body took on from that fight, when a lot of that damage he took on was not needed because the most brutal rounds of that fight were rounds 10, 11, and 12. He should never have been in the fight at that point in time, and if I were sitting here now, so be it. This corner pulled him from the fight. That would have been a fine situation. Instead, he went through three of the most brutal rounds you could possibly go through, and his corner just sat there looking at him get it beat in. If I'm Galal Yafai, I'm getting rid of all those guys. I understand from a fighter standpoint, you're not just going to take a knee and get out of the fight. Your job is to go out there and fight and have that dog mentality, that warrior mentality. Your corner is there to save you. And his corner failed him. His corner drastically failed him. And now, everything that happens to Galal Yafai going forward, with that being the present during his boxing career and the long-term damage, that can be attributed to what happened in that because of his corner. Because his corner failed to throw in the towel. And you could also throw blame on the ref because the ref's also there to protect the fighter. But here's the truth. We all know that the A side of fights will always get the advantage when it comes to referees. And if Galal Yafai were to have been the B side in this fight, the drop, when he was dropped and it counted as a trip or whatever it was, that would have been a situation that probably would have been counted as a knockdown, and it was not. And also the ref would have been saying this fight needs to be over with. It's going to be stopped. Instead, because he was the A side of this fight, the ref kept trying to give him more and more chances and opportunities, and the corner wouldn't throw the white towel in. You need to wave the white flag. You need to get rid of this fight and move on. And his corner failed him drastically. And now we're looking at a guy that had a lot of talent, now has a career where he's going to look at, and it's quite bleak. I don't know where he's going to go from here, and that's in large part due to the fact that his corner was a disgrace to him. And as I said, if I'm Galal Yafai, everyone in that corner is gone. End of discussion. Absolutely atrocious situation there. Absolutely embarrassing. Hopefully, he has a speedy recovery, but what happened in that fight was just not good. And he's going to have to take a long, long time out of the sport. At least I'd say 8 to 12 months, and absolutely at least. I don't see he's going to return to the ring this year. Not until mid next year will he probably even try to enter the ring again. That situation is going to have to Galal Yafai. It's not like he's a young fighter either. Brutal situation for him, but if he returns, we'll see what ends up unfolding. I pray for a healthy recovery, but this entire situation always on the hands of what just happened because of his corner.